Hello, Chris Colby here. Today I want to talk to you, actually it's a talk and a slight rant about the latest government plans to stop landlords evicting tenants for a further 4 weeks and then putting in place a 6-month notice before a landlord can evict a tenant. So the government, in their wisdom, have yet again screwed over landlords. Now, the reason why I'm so annoyed with this is there's a lot of landlords out there that are not ultra rich. There's this bit of stigma behind it that all landlords are greedy, they're rich, and that's just not the case. I know a lot of landlords, I work with landlords where they have really scrimped together and to get the saving for a deposit on a house because they're just trying to make their life a bit better and really work on their future. Now, I understand when we went into lockdown in March in the UK, it was completely necessary to stop people being evicted because no one knew what was happening. There was the whole talk of, what's happening with the virus, how does it spread, etc. So you couldn't just send people onto the streets at that point. I totally get it, but things have changed now, and there have been a lot of people taking advantage of this system. I'm not saying that everyone has, because there are a lot of people in genuine need where as landlords we can work with those people just through open communication. But there's a lot of people that have had their job still. They've still been earning, but they've just decided, we'll take the rent holiday. Oh, do you know what though? They can't get rid of us, so we'll just stop here. But it will catch up with them eventually. What's really, really annoying though is the fact that the government just seems to think it's perfectly acceptable for landlords to take the brunt of this. So I'll give you an example. People might be struggling with their food shopping bills. If they went into Tesco's or Sainsbury's and just picked up what they want without paying for it, they'd be arrested for shoplifting and they would have a criminal record. And you're talking probably like 20 quid's worth of stuff. You're talking potentially thousands of pounds worth in rent, where it's perfectly acceptable and it's not criminal for tenants. And again, I'm not talking about all tenants, I'm just talking about the ones that are taking advantage. It's perfectly acceptable for those tenants to not pay. Again, if you had a car on finance and you didn't pay back, they'd send a company round to take the car back off you. They're not, the government's not put in place and said, oh, you're not allowed to repossess a car for 12 months. No, again, it's just landlords. And I know, yes, this is where people live, and I get that, but people need to take some responsibility and work with their landlords around the reasons why they can't pay. The other thing that's really frustrating from a landlord's perspective is they provided mortgage holidays when the pandemic started, but they have now stopped, so they're certainly coming to an end. If a landlord has a tenant that's not paying for another 6 months still, and they've still got to pay their mortgage, then the banks are going to go and repossess their house through no fault of their own. So all this is doing is just making people poorer. And what it's doing is it's transferring the wealth of the country into the banks, the same banks that are allowed to just print endless amounts of money. The whole system is really corrupt and broken. And I can't help but thinking that actually this is all part of a larger plan. Now, you can dispute whatever you want in relation to conspiracy theories. The more that's happening, the more I'm questioning what is happening in society. But anyway, that is another story. If you are affected by this, I suggest you visit the NRLA, which is the National Residential Landlord Association. And because they put together some guidance for you, and also a few letter templates, because what they're recommending you do is you write to your local MP about how this is affecting you and the constituency as a whole, because obviously you are letting your properties out to the MP's constituents. And if they're just racking up so much debt, the thing is it's bad for the tenant as well if they're just allowed to rack up lots of debt without paying. Again, I'm talking about the ones that are abusing the system. They reckon that it's just going to screw over their credit score completely when we do eventually have the ability to evict them. So it's a lose-lose for everyone at the moment. So if you check their website, they've got a good letter template that you can use. So you can write to your local MP, and also just please comment in this video. If you see any other videos by any other property investors, comment on their video. Let's really expand this as a community of landlords, just so the government will listen to us, because I just see this as it's just nothing other than theft. Again, if I were to walk down to my local co-op now and pick up a milk and walk out without paying, I'd be arrested and I'd have a criminal record for shoplifting. Yet someone has gone, say, potentially when this 6-month period is ended, they could have gone 12 months without paying rent. And the average rent is sort of £750. You're talking £9,000 they haven't paid. It's just, in my eyes, it's criminal. Again, before anyone says anything, the people that are in genuine, need, they've lost their jobs, etc., then I totally understand we need to work with these people. Anyway, please do comment below. I'm really interested in your thoughts. Sorry this has been a bit ranty, but I needed to get it off my chest. Anyway, thanks for watching. Speak soon.